Okay, so we've been working with multiplication of decimals by whole numbers and then decimals by powers of 10. Now we have to work on the division. So we're going to work on the division of taking a decimal and dividing it by a whole number. Okay, so it says there are 8 meters left on a roll of ribbon. Nancy wants to cut the ribbon in half. What will be the size of each piece of ribbon? So here is your whole number. 2 is your whole number, and 8 and 4/10 is your decimal. Okay, so right now we're dividing by a whole number. So again, they're going to want you to estimate, as they always do, so that you can get an idea and a reasonable answer. So we know that 8 divided by 2 is 4. Here's where your times tables are something that you need to be practicing at home every single day, a couple minutes every single day, because if you don't have those facts down, it's going to be very difficult and tricky for you to have to keep looking back at your times table. So really in the next, couple weeks, try to really practice those facts. Have somebody quiz you every single day, okay? So it says, place the decimal point directly above the decimal point in the dividend, okay? So here is they're bringing the decimal right up, okay, and divide as with whole numbers. So you're dividing the same exact way you always would, and you're bringing the decimal straight up, okay, when you divide by a whole number. So 2 goes into 8 4 times. I know this is going to seem like a lot because we haven't divided in a while, but we're going to take it one step at a time. So you do 2 into 8 goes 4 times, and then you do 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, 8 minus 8 is 0. And then you bring down your next digit, which is a 4. And now you have to see 2. How many times does 2 fit into 4? Okay, because we don't worry about the 0. So 2 goes into 4. Good, 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. So 4 minus 4 is 0. We have no remainder. So our answer is 4 and 2/10. Okay, so we divided normally, even though it's a little tricky because you see a decimal number. And in this situation, we bring the decimal point right up. Okay, let's see. Beautiful. So 4 was the estimate, and 4 and 2/10 was the answer. Great. Okay. So here, they want you to look at it as a model. So they are doing, because it was, let me show you. So it was the same thing. It was 8 and 4/10 divided by 2 was 4 and 2/10. Okay. Each piece of ribbon would be 4 and 2/10 meters long. And they said you can use multiplication to check, which we know because of what we get as an answer, right? We can multiply back and we can check it. And we know how to multiply because we've been doing this. Oops, sorry, I made a mistake. We multiply it by 2. And when we multiply, we just keep it lined to the right, and then we worry about the decimal after. So 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. And in this example, you have 1 place over. So you have to scoop 1 time and put your decimal. So your answer would be 8 and 4/10, which is what we originally had, right? Originally was 8 and 4/10. So here they're showing you a picture. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2/10. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2/10. Okay, so they're showing you it in a picture because if you added these together, you would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4/10. Okay, so you'd have 8 wholes and 4/10. Okay, awesome job. Okay, so let's practice this one. It says find $6.54 divided by 12, round to the nearest cent. So we're going to place the decimal straight above. Okay, now here's where it looks a little confusing. So the zero's here because 12 cannot fit into 6. That's why there's a 0 here, right? So they're using it as a placeholder. They brought the decimal straight up. Okay, so let's see what's happening. So they are doing 12 into the number 65. Do you see that? It goes 12 into 65, okay? Because you can't just put it into the 5. You have to do it as the number itself. So it goes in 12 times, sorry, 12 times 5 is 60. I forgot for a second. Okay. So it goes in 5 times. So you do 5 times 12 is 60. 6 minus 6 is 0. You can write it here if you want. 5 minus 0 is 5, right? You bring down your next digit. And you don't bring down all your digits. You just bring down the next digit, okay? So 12 goes into 54. Think about that. If 12 went into 65 5 times, how many times do you think it would go into 54? Good, 4 times because it would be 48. Good. So 4, 8. Now a lot of you will do 4 minus 8. Can you do 4 minus 8? No. So you have to cross out the 5. Make this a 4. This becomes a 14. 14 minus 8. Good, 6. Awesome. And now they annex in a 0 here because they want you to continue dividing because we want to be able to round it to the nearest cent. So we need something else here. So they brought down a 0. So 12 goes into 60. Okay, good, 5 times because 5 times 12 is exactly 60. Awesome. Okay, so you don't get a remainder, but you do have 5, it's 545 thousandths. They want you to round to the nearest cent. So we know money, right, goes up to 99 cents, and then it goes to the next dollar. So how would you round it to the nearest cent? You would look at the 4. You would look next door. Okay. 5 or more, raise the score. 4 or less, let it rest. So it's 5 or more. So the 4 becomes a good 55 cents because the 4 becomes a 5. Awesome. Beautiful job. Oops, I always do that. Sorry. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, and then here they had you multiplying to check. Okay, and you get back to the same thing because this is what we got. And when we rounded to the nearest cent, it was 55 cents. So beautiful job. Okay, let's do one together and then you're going to practice a few. So let's do this one together. I'm going to write it bigger. 2 into 8 and 8 tenths. So 2 goes into 8. Don't forget to bring the decimal straight up. 2 goes into 8 4 times. Good. Because 4 times 2 is 8. When you subtract, you get 0. Bring down the next digit, which is 8. So 2 goes into 8. Good. 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8. So when you do 8 minus 8, you get 0. Okay, so your answer is 4 and 4 tenths. So all I did was bring the decimal up. And if you wanted to check yourself, so 4 and 4 tenths times 2. So you have 4 times 2 is 8. And then 2 times 4 is 8. And here is that same thing where you have one spot. So one spot. So 8 and 8/10. And that's what we originally had, right? All right, so you guys are going to practice some. I know it might seem scary. We'll do some easy ones for the first day, and we'll keep practicing. Awesome job.